Hello students. In today's class we will be studying about measurement of microorganisms by total cell count. In the previous video we had studied how to count the number of organisms, that is how to count the number of living organisms or viable cells. In today's class we will be studying how to count the viable as well as the dead cells, that is called as the total cell count. There are various methods. The first method among that is the direct microscopic count, DMC. It is called as DMC. This is also called as Breed's method because it was first introduced and explained by Breed. Now this is one method which is generally followed in dairy industry to check or to count the number of cells in the milk. So what does this, how does this test go? The sample is taken and a glass slide, and on the glass slide one square is marked behind the slide. One square is drawn or marked behind the slide. Then what do I do is I will take the sample. How much of the sample I will be taking? 0.01 ml. There is one Breed's pipette which is used to exactly take 0.01 ml of the sample, and that sample is taken using the Breed's pipette and it is evenly distributed on that square which is drawn. Then this sample, this is called as smear preparation. Now after this what do we do is, of course, we will air dry the smear. Now after air drying, in other smear preparations, when you prepare or when you make your slide, in other preparations you will air dry and then you will heat fix. But in this procedure you are not heat fixing, you are not applying heat to fix the sample here. Why? Because generally you are using milk sample, as I told you. If you apply heat, there are chances that the sample that you have taken, the smear that you have taken, will get charred, will get caramelized. You might know that in milk there is sugar which is called as the lactose sugar, and sugar, when you heat the sugar, it will get caramelized. So that is the reason that you do not heat fix it, you just air dry. After air drying, what do you do is you will stain the smear. Now how do you stain? Which stain is used? Generally methylene blue or Newman's stain is used. How long do you keep this stain for? It varies again, 5 minutes to 15 minutes generally it is kept. It again depends on various labs. Some labs they use it for 10 minutes, some labs they keep it for 5 minutes. So we will restrict as 5 to 10 minutes, and you will keep the stain for 5 to 10 minutes and then you will rinse the slide. Now rinsing is very important here. Why do you rinse? How do you rinse? Because you have not fixed a sample, you cannot simply keep the sample smear under the tap like your other slide preparations. So what do you do is you take a beaker which has water in that, and you will dip the slide with the smear and then you will remove. You will do this 2 or 3 times so that the excess stain will come out, but make sure that the sample does not come out with that. You are doing this to remove the excess stain and in making sure that the sample is not getting washed off. Then you will air dry and observe for the microorganisms under the microscope. Of course, since it is bacteria under oil immersion objective you will be using. Now, how do you count the number of cells? You will definitely, when you are seeing under the microscope under oil immersion, you can see a small field which is magnified. Okay, you will not be able to see the entire square or entire smear. It is not possible under oil immersion. In 10x probably you can see the entire smear, but which is smaller. But in oil immersion, a smaller field you can see which is magnified. Okay, so probably what you will do is you will focus one field. Okay, in that field you will count the number of microorganisms and you will write there. In one field there were these many cells. So field 1 has 3 cells. Then what you will do, you will change the field. Say initially you have counted the number of cells in this field, then you will change the field and you will count the number of microorganisms in this field. Then you will write how many organisms in the second field. Say you had 5 organisms, so second field 5 organisms. again you will change the field, and then in the third field how many organisms, again you will write how many organisms in the third field. So this is how many fields are actually possible under the microscope. 5 lakh fields are possible under the microscope, but and in that 1 square centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter and 1 centimeter. So and you are taking 0.01 ml of the sample. So 5 lakh fields are possible. So does that mean that you are going to count 5 lakh fields? No, it's not possible by a human being. So generally, to make our work simpler, what do is we bring down the number and then we take the average of it. Generally 10 fields are counted. Suppose I count the number of organisms in one field here, then I move to the next field. So I will count the number of microorganisms in 10 fields, and then I will multiply or I will take the average of that. So this is how I will count the number of microorganisms in DMC, direct microscopic count. Where it is used, as I told, generally in food industry, particularly dairy industry. What are the advantages and disadvantages? The advantages is it is a quick process. The second advantage is it does not take, it does not require many sophisticated instruments, and anybody can do this experiment. The disadvantages, of course, it cannot differentiate between living and dead cells. So I am just counting all the cells here. Dead cells are actually not getting involved in spoilage, or they are not giving any, they are not of any importance, but then still there is no differentiation. So that is one disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that it is a strain to the eye. Imagine you are counting the number of organisms in each field, or even 10 fields, it is a strain to the eye. As I had told, 5 lakh fields are possible and you are not counting all. So hence it is not accurate. Another disadvantage is that you may count the same field again, because you are just counting the field. Say you are counting this field under the microscope, and then you will move the field, then you may count this field. So the fields can overlap, and hence you might count the same organism twice or thrice. So there is overlaps. There are definitely gaps, because you are only counting 10 fields out of the 5 lakh that is possible. Say you are counting the organisms present in this field, the second field can be here. So what happens to the organisms present in the other areas? So there is gaps. So again there is no accuracy here. So these are the disadvantages. Again it applies only to liquid samples, not for solid samples. So these are the advantages and disadvantages, and this is the direct microscopic count, which is even now followed because it is a quick process. Within 10 minutes you can give the result. So hence this is one of the method which is followed even till date in food and also in the dairy industry. The next one is called as the hemocytometer technique, or the Neubauer's chamber technique. Hemocytometer, from the name itself, hem means blood, cyto cells, meter means to count. So this technique was initially introduced or used or formed to count the cells present in the blood. But now this technique is used to count the number of cells present in any given sample. So what does it, what does it involve? Basically it has a special kind of slide which is prepared for this purpose, the hemocytometer, which is called as a hemocytometer. How does a hemocytometer look? This is how the hemocytometer looks like, which has a H-shaped structure, and there are two smooth surfaces on either side. What is present on the two smooth surfaces? There are some lines, there are some graduations which is present on the two smooth surfaces. What are those graduations? There are some lines. Now let us see what kind of lines they are. One of the smooth surface, if we magnify, this is how it looks. What does it have? One box. It is made up of one big box, okay, and that one big box is further divided into 9 squares. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 squares. Okay. Now what are these 9 squares basically? The corner squares are called as the WBC chambers. This is one WBC chamber, this is another one, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. They are called as a WBC chamber. And the central square here, this is called as the RBC chamber. The other ones are just the extensions or they are not considered. Okay, now why they are named as RBC and WBC? Simple, initially these were used to count the WBC cells and this was used to count the RBC cells. So that's why they are named as WBC chambers and RBC chambers. Now if I have to show you a magnified image of it, this is how it looks. The entire graduations, as I told, there are 9 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now each of the WBC chamber is further divided into 16 squares. If you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So each of the WBC chamber is further divided into 16 squares. The entire WBC, each of the WBC square is 1 millimeter in length. Okay, and the RBC square, each of the RBC square, the RBC square is further divided into 25 squares. Now if I magnify this, this is how it looks. 25 squares, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I'm sorry. This is 25 squares. It is not magnified, but this is 25 squares. Okay, this here if you consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This magnification is of the WBC and this is the RBC. Remember, the WBC is divided into 16 small squares and the RBC is divided into 25 small squares. The distance or the length and breadth of the WBC is 0.05 mm. Okay, so this is how the RBC and the WBC chamber is. Now, what do you do when you want to count the number of organisms present in the sample? Generally, what do? You add the sample, that is you place the cover slip on the empty, this is the dotted lines what I have shown, is you will place the cover slip on the slide on the smooth surface and then you will take the sample using the pipette and you will place the mouth of the pipette at the junction of the smooth surface and the cover slip. Slowly you will release the sample. Through capillary action the sample will move inside. Excess of the sample will be removed and then you will count the number of organisms present here. Either you will count the organisms present in all the WBC chambers or you will count the number of organisms present in the RBC. Now counting all the 25 becomes a little difficult. So what do is you will count the 5 chambers in the RBC. That is extreme 5 corners and the central square, which is 1, 2. This is called as a chamber, B chamber, C, D and E. This is A, this is B, C, D and E. So you will count the number of cells present in the 5 corner squares of the RBC and the central square and then you will do the calculation. So this is how you will do the you will use the hemocytometer to count the number of cells. Where it is used? Any food industry, this is used. Again, as I mentioned, pathology, I want to count the number of cells, blood cells, this is used. Dairy industry, it can be used. Food industry, it can be used. Now dairy industry, it is restricted because it can damage because it has fat globules, it has sugar, it can damage the graduations here and hence we follow the DMC there. But otherwise for food sample, for the pathology labs, we can follow this technique. What are the advantages and disadvantages using hemocytometer? Advantages, again, it is a quick process. I don't have to wait for a long time to give the result there. And as such, microbiologist may not be required. A person who knows about counting the number of cells will be able to do this particular exercise. experiment. It is a very quick process. Disadvantage, it is used only to count the liquid sample. You cannot use it for a solid sample. Both living and dead cells are counted. I cannot differentiate between living as well as the dead cells. I can stain, or without staining also I can see the organisms present here. And definitely a sophisticated slide is required. I cannot use a simple slide for performing this experiment. I require a special kind of slide which is called as a hemocytometer for this particular experiment. So that is one biggest disadvantage of this particular experiment. Again, it can be a strain to the eye, which is another disadvantage of this particular experiment. The next method to count the total number of cells is called as the Coulter counter method. Now how does it follow? I mean, what is the principle? This is how the Coulter counter looks like. Now what is the principle behind it? Now what do you mean by, if we say that the good conductors of electricity means electricity will pass through it. Bad conductors of electricity means electricity will not pass through it. Microorganisms are poor conductors of electricity, which means microorganisms still some amount of electricity will pass through it. So based on this, the using this principle, the experiment or this particular procedure is involved there. There are two it consists of this kind of a setup wherein there is an anode, there is a cathode, okay, which has to inside the two tubes there is an anode, there is a cathode, that is positive and negative, and between the two tubes there is a small orifice meaning a small hole, a small pore. Now here, in order to make you understand, the distance is very I've shown a bigger distance here, but then the orifice is very small, 0.01 nanometer. The hole is very small there. So what do I do here is, I will switch on this instrument and then I will make the sample to pass through the orifice every time, and this instrument is connected to a digital reader. Okay, so I will make the sample to pass through the instrument. Now when it passes through the instrument, whenever it comes across, whenever the electrodes comes across the microorganism, I told you electricity will pass through it. It will give a beep and then it will get calculated in the digital meter there. So every time the microorganism pass through the orifice and it meets the electrodes, it will give you the calculation, it will count the number of cells, it will show in the digital meter there. So this is about Coulter counter. It's very simple, just you have to switch on and then everything is automated, it gets recorded in the digital meter. You have to only consider whatever is shown in the digital meter, whatever is picturized in the digital meter there. What are the advantages and disadvantages? One, biggest advantage, it is again useful for liquid samples, cannot use a solid sample here. Since the distance, the orifice is very small, there are chances that there will be clogging that will get involved there. It can relate to clogging, and hence if it gets clogged, I have to switch off the instrument, get it cleaned, and again have to restart the experiment. So that is one disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that in case if there are any debris or if there is any other substance which is a good conductor of electricity, like your water molecule, again that also will be considered as a microorganism, and that also can be recorded here, and it is not you are not getting a accurate result here. So that is biggest disadvantage there. Advantage, there is no trained personnel microbiologist required to do this particular experiment. It's a very quick process, quickly this procedure will get over. Apart from this Coulter counter, no other sophisticated equipments are involved, no much glasswares are involved, and no specific microbiologist is required, or no any person can do this particular experiment, a quick process. These are the disadvantages and advantages of the experiment. So this is counter method. So the various methods under the total count is direct microscopic count, wherein I am counting the organisms placed with a smear on a simple slide. Hemocytometer, which requires a special kind of slide, generally which was designed to count the number of blood cells. Now it is used to count any kind of sample, food sample, and also any kind of sample. And the counter technique, which is based on the principle of good or bad conductors of electricity. So these are the various methods. Thank you, students.